Greetings, boys and girls, from the Alberta Pepper Lab. Here is Pepper's sister, and she's going to be showing us how to make apple pepper jelly, so stay tuned.
Okay, so to make apple jelly, what you do is you cut up quarter apples, dump them in a pot up to about like 3/4 of the way or a little bit more. You fill it up with water so that it's maybe just covering the apples, and then you boil the crud out of it until it's mushy. Then what you do is you take all of that good moosh and you put it into a jelly bag or some kind of a cheesecloth to strain out the juice. I usually hang my jelly bags overnight to get all that good stuff, and then what you end up with is yummy apple juice. And that's going to be the base of what we're going to use to make our hot apple spicy pepper jelly.
Okay, so we've got our fresh peppers, which are mostly basket of fires and habaneros in here. We're not too sure how much we have. We're going to dice it up. Had they been fresh peppers, we would have chopped them up on the board, but these are frozen peppers. So unfortunately, we had to be lazy and food process them. So we're going to chop this up, show you guys what we have after, and let you guys know the measurements that we require. Tell the people what you just did.
I kind of put my face right in there. And, yeah, that was a poor choice.
So you guys can see what the consistency looks like. That is it. We're trying to we're gonna measure it out afterwards and then give you guys the correct amounts of stuff to put in there. This looks like a lovely amount. Okay, so the measurement is approximately 3/4 of a cup of finely diced peppers. And then, how many cups of juice are we putting in here?
2.5 cups of apple juice.
2.5 cups of apple juice.
And then 1/2 cup of cider vinegar.
Yum. Anything else to add before we cut to the next scene?
And then you're going to put in about 3 3/4 cups of sugar.
3 3/4 cups of sugar. My supervisor is supervising me. So we've mixed in everything. Now, looks like we're going to cook it. Here's what it looks like right now before it's all mixed up.
So you're going to start at about medium-high heat, and you're just going to kind of give it a stir occasionally, get the sugar to start dissolving. Doesn't that look good?
That looks amazing. Okay.
So you see how it's boiling, and if I give it like really good stirs, I cannot get it to stop boiling. You want to have it boiling to the point where you can't stir it down, and you're going to keep boiling it at that high speed until we reach the gel setting point, and we'll talk about that once we get there. So to test for your gel, you're just going to put a little bit of jelly onto your plate, and then you're going to throw that back into the freezer. So I have one here. Now I'm going to test for it by checking to see how jelly-like it is. And you can see right now, it's not really wrinkling when I push my finger through, so it's not quite set yet. Okay, so we're going to put that back in. I'm going to put it in for a minute. Oh, that's spicy, Alex. Woo! And we'll check for it in a minute. Okay, so normally I would have my wooden spoon and I would be able to kind of see whether or not it's sheeting. And it's hard to tell with this one. So we're going to go to the freezer method where like we showed earlier, we put a teaspoon or a little bit, maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon onto a plate, put it in the freezer. So 1 minute later, we're checking it for gel set. Okay, so, and you can see how it is kind of wrinkling in front of my finger there. That means it's reached gel, so now we can can it. So it has reached gelling point, so we're going to take it off the heat. Look at that beautiful color, hey? That's going to be a pretty jelly. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've previously sterilized our jars. We're going to take our funnel. This little thing measures headspace. And we have some kind of hot, not quite boiling water that we've put our lids in. And we've kind of stacked them a little offset, and we're going to use our little jar thingy. The hot water heats the seal a bit, so it helps the jars seal. So what we're going to do is get a big spoon. Alex, you need a big spoon.
Okay, so we got our spoon.
Yeah, alright, so we got our spoon. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just start filling her up with jelly. We want to leave a 1/4 inch headspace, so we're going to take a big jar of that and just start tossing her in there. Oh, this is going to be beautiful jelly. You don't want any big bubbles, that would not be good, so just kind of keeping an eye, trying to pour it in such a way that we're not going to get humongous bubbles. And, okay, so now we're going to check our headspace. We want about a 1/4 cup, so we're not quite there. We maybe need just a tinge more jelly. You want to get as close to a 1/4 cup as you can. Go, and now we've got a 1/4 cup. So what we're going to do, wipe our rims so that we don't have any jelly that might impede our seal. Okay. And then we're going to take our lid, place it over top, and you're going to tighten just a finger tight. You don't want to reef on it. You want there to be room enough for the air to escape. Okay. We're going to set that aside so that we can then put it in our jar, in our big pot for processing, but we're going to fill all our jars just like we did with this one, and then we'll come back. So now that we've filled all of our jars up, we're going to now process them. So what we're going to do is we're going to put them into our canner. Now we have to make sure that the canner is at a full rolling boil, because you want to be putting your hot jars, recently filled with jelly, into a hot boiling canner, and then we're going to process it. And the amount of time that you're going to spend processing will change depending on your altitude. So if you're really close to sea level, that can be as short as 5 minutes, but we're here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. We're up a little bit higher, so we have to process for at least 10 minutes. So here we go. I'm going to put them in.
So that recipe gave us 3 cans.
3 cans, yeah. And these are half-pint cans, so it was 3 half-pints that we got. And we had a little bit of extra so that Alex will have something for his breakfast for the next little bit. And, okay, we want at least 1 inch of room between the top of the jar and the top of the water. I'll just tuck you down there. Has to come back to a full rolling boil. We don't start the time until it's at a full rolling boil, and then we'll pull it out of the canner after 10 minutes of full boil. Alright, so you have to check processing times for your own region because it depends on your altitude, but we're done for our altitude at this point, so we're going to pull them out. You want to keep them upright as you're pulling them out. You don't want to tilt it. There will be some water on the top. You just ignore it. Leave it on there. You don't want to tilt because if jam gets in the middle between your seal, it'll possibly result in a faulty seal. So you want to keep everything upright from the moment you pour the jelly in right through. And we're going to set them down here. And we're going to let them sit right where they are for 24 hours. We're not going to touch them. And again, that's important to get a really good seal. And sometimes you hear little popping sounds as those lids start sealing, but don't let that tempt you to grab them. Just leave them for 24 hours and then they're good. What we'll do is, actually I'll show you here, is you're going to, this one's not, this one's sealed, right? So they'll be sealed like this when they come out of the canner. You're gonna take off this rim. You're gonna check that there's no popping sound when you push on it. And then you're just gonna kind of take it and lightly just kind of check to make sure it really is on there securely and you don't have a false seal. And this one is for sure sealed. I'm gonna store it like this in a cool, dark place for up to a year. And that's that.
Okay, so just wanted to show you guys what these jars look like. That is absolutely beautiful. Nice dark, or nice light amber color. And these are going to be tasting good. Okay, so this is the taste test. Here's a good view of it. This is what we're going to be eating, my sister and I. So,
cheers.
Cheers.
It's hot.
It's spicy, but it's good.
It's a good jelly. It's sweet, but spicy.
It's actually quite spicy. Yeah. Super sweet. Really tasty.
Oh, it has a nice burn.
It does have a nice burn. You don't really taste much of the vinegar in it, though.
No, you don't taste any vinegar. It's just, it's a little bit fruity. It's spicy, a little bit sweet, but yeah, really lovely. Would go with many things.
Yeah. I'm going to be eating this for breakfast every day of the week, I think. Have some more. Well,
I'll finish it.
Well, I think that about does it. Hope you guys are having a great day. Bye-bye.